God, I hadn't seen anything so cute as a baby sausage dog. She was so tiny and she was so beautiful.
And did her and Kristen bond straight away?
Yes, Callie and Kristen bonded straight away. The whole reason why Kristen wanted Callie was because she had melanoma, and when I was at work she often got lonely or if she had pain, and Callie was a good distraction for her. And Callie knew Kristen was sick. Dogs have a way of knowing when there's something wrong with somebody, and Kristen just adored her.
Hello, I'm Mitchell Jordan, and you're listening to Love is a Doxie. The voice you just heard is my mother, Louise. In this first episode, I'd like to share with you the very personal reason behind this project. It's a sad story sometimes, but as any dachshund owner knows, when these dogs are around, there's plenty of joy too. I hope you'll stick with me to hear it all. Some days are easier to remember than others. Monday, Thursday, Sunday, they all blur so easily with the mundane. But I can remember one Friday afternoon vividly, the day I checked my phone and noticed countless missed calls from my mother. I was working, but rang back as soon as I could. Was something wrong? Through her tears, I learned that my younger sister, Kristen, was sick. Melanoma. Cancer. It had spread, and spread fast. She might only have 2 years left. I felt the world spin as it really does in these life-changing moments when you realize how fragile and uncertain everything is. 2 years. I tried to tell myself that this was a long time. Anything could happen. I could even be gone by then. But this isn't a story about me. In a way, it's not about my sister either. It's the story of her dog, Callie. Callie entered our lives through the most challenging of circumstances. If Kristen hadn't been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, the very worst of the worst, then she might not have even considered a dog. Her pets and companions had always been horses. She was 25 and carefree. A dog is constant, company, companion. And we hadn't had a dog for years now.
Originally, the kids and myself had a Jack Russell, who was a great little dog, and we just adored her. And we had her till she was pretty old, and she got hurt and we had to put her down. And it was years before we had another dog, because I just didn't want another dog, because the Jack Russell was just such a big part of our life. But then when Kristen got sick, that's when she decided that she really wanted company, and that's how we come to get Callie.
5 years ago, dachshunds weren't as popular as they were today. It was always the energetic Jack Russells that roamed my mind, the ones I longed to pat or hold when I saw them in parks. But Kristen had other ideas. She dreamed of a miniature dachshund, no matter what anyone else might have thought.
Oh, I said, don't get one. They're savage little buggers. And she had her heart set on getting one. And I said, oh, when we were kids, Auntie Cheryl had one, and it was a nasty little dog. So I just assumed that all sausage dogs were.
But that wasn't every dachshund, and it certainly wasn't Callie.
My opinion of sausage dogs has changed, not knowing anything about them. I did do a little bit of Google research on them, and from that I would say, yes, she's a typical dachshund, because they're very loving. They know when you're feeling sad, and Callie definitely does. They love their family. My niece and nephew I call Callie's cousins, and every morning my niece and myself go to feed a calf that we're rearing at home, and Callie's up at 5:30 every morning and greets her cousin Cora like she hasn't seen her for a week, and she sees her every morning at the same time, but she wouldn't not go.
My first meeting with her, I was love-struck. We were at our Nana Carol's home and she was there, the tiny red baby, almost jelly bean in size. She felt small enough to fit into my palm. I admit it was hard. I had to keep reminding myself to stop taking Callie off my sister. I wanted her all to myself, but I had arrived too late. Kristen and Callie's bond was sealed.
Oh, they went everywhere together, done everything together. Kristen bought her lots of outfits, but Callie refused to wear them. She bought her little jumpers that said security on it, and another one said Addy Dog. But Kristen did get tired a lot of the time, and so Callie learnt from an early age to have a midday nap, which she was more than happy to do. Callie likes nothing more than have a good sleep. Callie loves to sleep. She's always on the bed, but won't lay on top of the bed. She has to go under the blankets and usually the doona, because apparently this is a dachshund thing where, because they were bred for burrowing for badgers, she likes to tunnel under the blankets. So I gather that's where that comes from.
And one time you had a bit of a disaster.
Yes, when she was little, where the doona cover buttoned up, she must have crawled in there, and we were asleep. And I woke up for some reason and she wasn't breathing. And Kristen was in her bed asleep, and I sang out, "Callie's died, she's not breathing." And we were in a panic, and I just sort of started hitting her on the rib cage, and then she started breathing, but I'm pretty sure that she actually died. That's what I think happened.
I can't remember how many operations my sister went through. Aside from the melanoma, I remember the operation to remove the brain tumour, the operation to remove the tumour on the ovary, all those ugly, ugly scars. Palliative care is such an ugly place, even if the staff who work there are kind. I tried to brighten things for Kristen with fancy food, flavours, sounds and scents from the world outside her window, which was now a universe away. She was soothed by the sound of Nick Drake singing about the green hills somewhere, and a Tori Amos song I chose at random named Sleeps with Butterflies. Music calms, it's true, but nothing had the same effect as Callie.
Callie went in to see Kristen in a couple of different hospitals. A lot of hospitals are very good where they'll let dogs in to visit their owners. Callie was so well behaved. At one stage, Kristen was in a wheelchair, so Callie would sit on her knee, and Callie wouldn't move. She was just so good and so well behaved that a lot of people thought Callie was a therapy dog. And then when Kristen was in palliative care, Callie went in every day to see her mum, and a couple of times when we'd pull up in the car park, she'd jump out the car, and my partner didn't grab her lead in time. Callie just took herself off through the car park, and I thought, the automatic doors wouldn't open for her, but they did, and Callie had tottered up the hallway of palliative care, and you hear the nurses say, "Callie, what are you doing here on your own?" And she goes straight into the room where her mother was. So she definitely knew what was going on, and she used to love going to see her mum.
Did Callie meet other people in palliative care? Did she have any effect on them?
Yes. Sometimes the nurses would come and borrow Callie, because the majority of people in palliative care were very old. They used to take Callie for a visit with them, and it used to cheer them up. And there were therapy dogs that used to come in to visit, a beautiful pair of golden retrievers. But because Callie was always on her mum's bed with her, she had one of the dogs bluffed because Callie didn't like them coming too close to her mum.
You can figure out what happened next. We didn't get precisely 2 years, though it wasn't far off either. I don't need to tell you all the details, but there is something I want to know. Do dogs cry? Animals certainly grieve. Elephants hold vigils, sea lions wail in despair. And yet we humans continue to treat them all so terribly, whether it's through cages or killing. We are the most heartless species there is. I can't help feeling humans have it so easy. We get to vent on social media or to a therapist. When things get tough, we can pack up and go on holiday. Who does an animal have to turn to? I have no way of asking her, but I am sure, very sure, that Callie remembers. Maybe even more than I do.
Callie knew when we lost her mum. She came in to the hospital, and this is going to be a bit hard.
Dachshunds, both miniature and full size, strut the streets of the city I live. They are the dog of the moment. Sometimes when I see someone walking theirs, I stop and speak. Sometimes I blurt out, "I've got one too." And even though I know it's not entirely true, I don't mean to lie. It's just shorthand for a sad story. I'd have her in a second, less than a second. But Callie isn't mine. Who does she belong to?
She's not mine, I'm just looking after her. She belongs to my daughter.
I look forward to seeing Callie like others long for holidays. Part of me aches if it has been too long. Palliative care is no place for anyone, dogs included. I'm glad she is away from that world, and if Kristen can't be here, then at least she is free from pain. Now, Callie has other visits to make.
Callie is very well known at the produce store I go to. They know her. Where my partner gets his tyres from for his car. If he pulls up there without Callie, the man always says, "Where's the sausage dog?" We go to Bunnings. We have a lot of trouble getting around Bunnings because everyone asks me if they can pat her. And I've had so many comments by people about how well behaved she is in the trolley. But if they seen her when she used to sit on her mother's lap when her mother was in the wheelchair, they'd understand. And every time Callie would go to visit her mother, whether it be in hospital or palliative care, she never yapped. She was so well behaved. She knew exactly how to behave.
And then there's Saturday, the day she looks forward to the most.
Oh, on Saturday morning, we get up and we do the animals. Then I say to Callie, "We're going to Nanny's today in the car." And she bounces around and just wants to get straight out into the car. So when I go, "Come on, we're going to Nanny's," she flies out the door, and I open the car door and she jumps up, and she's got a little bed on the back seat and she sits there. And then when we get to Nana's, I say, "We're at Nanny's now," and she gets so excited for two reasons. First reason is she loves her Nana, and the second reason is Nana spoils her rotten. Oh, Nana loves seeing Callie. It gives her something to look forward to, and Callie just thinks the whole time that she's at Nana's, that she's there to protect Nana. So if anyone strange walks past the door or comes to the door, Callie barks like she's a big pit bull. But she only does that to protect Nana.
It isn't just my Nana Carol who Callie goes to see. Nana's neighbour Pam has her own reasons for looking forward to the weekend.
Kelly, here comes Pam.
Oh, okay.
There's Pam. There's Pammy.
Oh, you beautiful girl. Yes, you are. Look at you.
I love dogs. I really do.
And I wish I could have one, but I'm in a unit, so now I've got a little kitten. I would prefer a dog because I love them.
Now let's hear from Nana.
Saturdays is Callie's day. Pam goes down the road and comes back with her steak, oyster blade steak, and I have it cut up waiting for her in a dish. And when she gets here, she gets out the car and flies in. It's like a torpedo with 4 legs. And eats it all, and then comes and grabs one of her toys and shakes the hell out of it. Callie protects me. If anyone comes here, she's barking up them and I'm lost.
That's okay. And what do you enjoy about seeing Callie on Saturday?
Oh, I just love her.
Butterflies are said to be messengers, messages from above. On an autumn day, my mother Callie and I went walking across a carpet of red leaves in the Botanic Gardens. Winter was only seconds away, but the milky sun wove through the trees, leaves and branches rustling in harmony. And then we saw it, a giant butterfly circling us before finally hovering above a flower. The butterfly followed us as we moved through the garden. Take a photo, my mother suggested, but I couldn't do it. Some things are there when they're there. Some things you don't need evidence to remember. Because I was there. And so was Callie. Love is a Doxie is created and written by Mitchell Jordan. All sound and song credits can be found in the episode notes. To get in touch or share your story, write to loveisadoxie@gmail.com.